All right, let's kick off this explainer with a quick interactive test. I am about to read you 5 sentences. For every single one that describes you, and I mean honestly, no lying to yourself, I want you to hold up a finger right where you're sitting. Just break the fourth wall with me for a second. Ready?
Okay, number 1. You carry a balance on your credit card and just pay the minimum. 2. You've got more than one buy now, pay later plan running at the exact same time. 3. If your car broke down tomorrow, you'd absolutely have to put the repair on a card. 4. Every time you get a raise, your spending quietly goes up too, and somehow you never actually feel any richer. And 5. You keep telling yourself you'll definitely start investing for retirement next year. So let's be real, how many fingers are you holding up?
Welcome to the explainer. Now look, if you're currently holding up 0 fingers, genuinely, congratulations. You can leave a smug comment below and the rest of us will be just a little bit jealous. But if you're holding up 1 or 2 fingers, well, it turns out you're in the majority. That genuinely describes most Americans right now, which is wild. But listen, if you are holding up 3 or more fingers, stay very, very still. Because in this explainer, we're going to look at exactly how much these decisions are actually costing you. And here's the crazy part. None of these mistakes feel dangerous in the moment. They feel small, reasonable, and sometimes even responsible. That's exactly why they work.
But don't panic, we aren't just here to doom scroll the problems. Today, we're covering the minimum payment trap, the buy now, pay later illusion, the emergency void, lifestyle inflation, and finally, the cost of waiting. And more importantly, we're gonna lay out an insultingly simple fix for every single one. Let's get right into it.
Trap number 1, the minimum payment trap, also known as the illusion of progress.
Okay, here's a secret nobody tells you. Minimum payments are mathematically and legally designed to keep you trapped in debt for as long as humanly possible, just so the bank keeps collecting interest. I mean, look at this. The average American cardholder right now is sitting on a $7,886 balance. At roughly a 25% APR, that costs nearly $2,000 a year in interest alone. $2,000 a year. And that's not even paying down the actual debt. You're literally just paying for the privilege of owing it. If you keep paying only the minimum, you could genuinely be making payments on that exact same balance a whole decade from now, having paid thousands while the principal barely budges. It's quite literally like running on a treadmill set to the maximum incline and calling it a commute.
So how do we fix it? Honestly, the fix is remarkably simple. You have to totally abandon the minimum payment forever mindset and pick a real strategy. You can choose the avalanche method, where you attack your highest interest rate card first with every single spare dollar you have, keeping minimums on the rest. Or, if you know you need quick psychological wins to stay in the game, choose the snowball method and knock out the smallest balance first. Either way, picking one of these methods beats paying the minimum by literal years and saves you thousands. The math really isn't even close.
All right, moving on to trap number 2, the buy now, pay later illusion, or as I like to call it, invisible debt.
Now this trap is super sneaky because it doesn't even feel like debt, right? A $300 couch, some $150 headphones, a $200 clothing order, they all look completely manageable in a vacuum. But look at the sheer scale of this. 59% of Gen Z actively use buy now, pay later services. The huge issue here is that these purchases usually do not show up on your credit report. Lenders have no idea you've got 3 other plans running concurrently. So you might think you just have 3 small, easy payments. But in reality, you have hundreds of dollars due over the next few weeks, entirely invisible to your own credit profile until all those bills hit on the exact same Tuesday. And all that invisibility leads to this frankly terrifying statistic. 57% of BNPL users have already missed a payment. That is not a small margin of error. That's the majority of users slipping up. When a paycheck runs a little short, these plans are usually the first to default. And the late fees attached to those defaults, they often completely exceed regular credit card interest. So your quote-unquote interest-free loan just became way more expensive than the credit card you were trying to avoid in the first place. The fix here is absolute. If you have more than one of these plans open right now, that is a giant flashing red sign to stop opening new ones immediately. Pay off what exists and then ask yourself this one brutal filtering question before you ever click checkout again. Could I pay for this in full, today, right now? If the answer is no, splitting it into 4 payments does not change your reality. It just hides it from you for 6 weeks.
Trap number 3, the emergency savings void, the ultimate debt accelerant.
Look, having absolutely nothing saved when life inevitably goes sideways just makes every single other mistake we've talked about so much worse. Nearly 1 in 4 Americans, 24%, have 0 emergency savings. Literally none. Without a safety net, your car breaking down doesn't just cost you the mechanic's bill. No, it goes straight on to that credit card you're already carrying a balance on. Suddenly, a $400 repair has a permanent 25% APR attached to it. A $1,000 emergency organically becomes a $1,250 problem in just 1 year, purely by sitting on a revolving balance. You aren't avoiding the cost by not saving, you're just strapping compound interest to it on a schedule you can't even predict.
But here's your rescue plan. And I promise it's way faster and less scary than it sounds. Step 1, open a high-yield savings account today. Just make sure it's at a totally separate bank, not in the exact same app as your daily checking account. You want to remove that temptation to easily transfer it back. Step 2, automate just $50 a month on payday before you ever have a chance to spend it. And step 3, target exactly $1,000. Forget about a giant 6-month living expense fund for right now. Forget the huge intimidating numbers. Just hit $1,000. That specific number, sitting quietly out of sight, is enough to break the cycle of normal emergencies turning into permanent debt.
Moving right along to trap number 4, lifestyle inflation. Earning more, but keeping absolutely nothing.
This is the trap that blindsides high earners just as hard as everyone else, maybe even harder. You finally get a raise, and somehow 6 months later, you don't feel a dime richer than you did before the promotion. Because you're earning more, that nicer apartment suddenly feels deserved. The extra streaming subscriptions, the better takeout, it all just feels like a reasonable reward for your hard work, right? Well, that happens because of this brutal statistic. 92% of disposable income in America currently goes straight to consumption. Not savings, not investments, just consumption. The raise walks in the front door, and it walks right out the back, just dressed slightly nicer than last year. The cold hard math of wealth building relies entirely on the gap between what you earn and what you keep. If your spending rises to perfectly match your new income, that gap just stays at zero. You can get raise after raise and never move an inch closer to actual financial security.
So how do we break the cycle? The fix is every single time you get a raise, before you adjust your lifestyle even a tiny bit, automatically divert at least half of that new money to savings or investments. Say you get a $300 a month raise. $150 goes straight to savings or your 401k before you even see it in your checking account. You still get to enjoy the other half and inflate your lifestyle a bit, sure, but for the very first time, you actually get to keep something.
And finally, trap number 5, the cost of waiting. That classic, I'll start next year mentality.
This trap has the most invisible but absolutely overwhelmingly expensive long-term cost of anything we've touched on today. We tell ourselves we'll start when the debt is finally paid off, or when we make just a little more money, or next year. But the result? It's staggering. The median retirement savings across all working-age Americans is just 87 grand. And honestly, that average completely hides the massive chunk of the population that effectively has zero. This is despite the fact that 2026 contribution limits are huge, over $24,000 for a 401k and $7,500 for a Roth IRA. The room to grow is there, but most people use a tiny fraction of it because they just keep waiting.
Let's map out the actual damage of next year. A 35-year-old who delays investing for just 5 years doesn't merely lose 5 years of putting cash away, they lose 5 years of compounding growth on every single dollar they could have invested. And worse, they lose the compounding on that growth for every remaining decade until they retire. A 5-year delay creates this devastating 30-year ripple effect from one seemingly small "I'll start later" decision.
The fix for this trap? Honestly, it's the most critical piece of advice in this entire explainer. If your employer offers any kind of 401k match, contribute enough to get the full match today. Not next paycheck, today. It's an instant, guaranteed, totally risk-free return that beats literally everything else on the market. If you don't have a match, go open a Roth IRA this week. Remember, the exact dollar amount you put in initially matters way less than the decade you start in. Time is the one asset you simply cannot earn more of.
All right, so we've walked through all 5 traps, and if you look closely, you'll see the exact same psychological glitch connects every single one of these mistakes. Our brains naturally trick us. The cost right now feels incredibly real and immediate, while the cost later feels abstract, distant, easy to ignore. The minimum payment feels totally manageable today. Skipping the emergency fund feels completely fine today, until it doesn't. And retirement? Well, that's always someone else's problem, future you's problem.
But here is the best news, the ultimate takeaway from this explainer. Escaping these financial traps doesn't take some dramatic, life-altering overhaul. You don't have to sell everything you own and eat plain rice and beans for a decade. The fixes are just small, boring, unglamorous automatic decisions. A snowball payoff method, one separate high-yield account, automatically saving half your raise, grabbing that one 401k match. If you held up 2, 3, or even 4 fingers at the start of this, you aren't hopelessly behind. You are literally just a few automatic transfers away from a completely different financial trajectory.
And that brings us to the end. So circling back to that test from the beginning, drop a comment below right now. How many fingers did you honestly hold up? Be totally honest, there is absolutely zero judgment here. Acknowledging the trap is the very first step to fixing it for sure. If breaking down these hidden financial drains was helpful to you, make sure to subscribe so we can keep making these complex topics simple, clear, and visually structured. Until next time, take a hard look at your automations and start building that gap between what you earn and what you keep.
वीडियोस बनाने हैं, फिल्मोरा है ना।